time I almost got arrested. Now, even the best of us have been arrested a time or 6, but this is a story about one of the time I was almost arrested. So this story, oddly enough, began in a philosophy class, and you're like, how does that start? In fact, it was an ethics class. I was trying to decide, there were 2 sections, I was trying to decide which section to join. There was one section that was 8 a.m., one that was 11 a.m., and at that time in my life, I was not particularly a morning person. I'm not really a morning person now, but I kind of have to be. So I was trying to decide between the 8 a.m. class and the 11 a.m. class. And I ended up deciding on the 11 a.m. class because, oddly enough, it was a little bit more, everyone was a little bit more outgoing and talkative in the class. So I decided on that one. Also, because it worked better with my sleep schedule. So in that class, I'm a second row. I like to sit in the second row. I'm not a first row, not a back row. I'm a second row person. And in the back row, there were these guys, BJ, which was short for Black Josh, Poof, which was short for his last name Poofall, which was funny for me because in Australia, Poof is a gay slur, but he didn't know that, and he'd heard that actually, but it doesn't mean anything here. So and then what was his name? Jerome. I didn't really know Jerome as well, but Jerome. And they were all roommates, and so I would talk to them before and after class. And towards the middle of the semester, they were like, "Hey, we're gonna have a party at our house. You should come." So I did, and I went to their party. And after the semester, we continued to be friends. I still talk to Poof, and BJ is now a lawyer in Minnesota. I don't know what Jerome was doing. They had a third roommate who I never got to know, but he wasn't in the class, so I didn't know. So anyway, all that is to say, a few semesters later, we decided we were going to go to this place called Fieldhouse. This was at Mizzou. Fieldhouse was the bar that all the fraternity guys would go to, and there were always fights outside of it, and the police would line up in the middle of the street. At closing time, it's just start arresting people. So there was a big scrum of people trying to leave, and I was just trying to get connected. Jerome wasn't there, BJ and Poof were there, maybe there were some other people, but I was trying to leave, and there was this group of people. I walked around them. One of the people in the group grabbed me and pushed me in the street. And so I'm lying in the street, and BJ picks me up. And as I'm lying in the street, I realize that I've been pushed into a female police officer. And so they pull me out after I get up. They pull me in, they put me in the middle of the street in handcuffs. So there I am sitting in the middle of the street in handcuffs. And I'm like, hey, they're like, well, what's this fight about? And I'm like, I don't have anything to do with this. I'm just trying to leave. And so eventually they've got bigger issues to deal with, so they just let me leave. But imagine if I hadn't been able to say, hey, I'm just leaving. But the moral of the story is, it made me think, if I hadn't taken the 11 a.m. class, I wouldn't have met BJ, Poof, and Jerome, and then I wouldn't have been at Fieldhouse, and I wouldn't have almost got arrested that night. So small decisions can have bigger consequences later in life, and that's the moral of the story. And there you go.